Hey, this is Eddie Olczyk. You're listening to Empty Betters with Nick, Mac, and Harrison.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to episode 98 of Empty Betters. I'm your host, Harrison Scholes, and I'm going to toss it across the screen to my co-host, Nick Manella. How we doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Had a great weekend, ripped it up, got to see two of my friends from college get married, got to see like a bunch of the older guys from our fraternity. So that's always nice. Those guys are they're like, you know how like you're like 2 years younger than I am? They're like 2 years older than me. So it's always good to catch up with those guys. A lot of them don't live like in Maryland anymore. So it's good to see them.
Always good to feel young, you know?
Exactly. Which for me doesn't get to happen very often. So.
Especially talking to us two.
I was going to say, especially when I'm with the kids, but no.
I'm going to pass it across the screen to our youngest co-host, Mac Vogel. How we doing?
Doing well, living life, as I always say. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, so I've been in a good mood recently just because I'm like big spookies coming up. Love that.
Big spookies. Good shit.
Yeah, I've also, side note, I've been filming for this little project that my girlfriend is doing where I star in a movie as a sheet ghost. So I've been doing a lot of that stuff recently, and
nice.
Yeah, there's pictures on my Instagram if anybody wants to look at that, but it's basically just pictures of me in a ghost costume with my buddy also in a ghost costume, and we're just going all over town. People are honking at us. We get drunk in the ghost costumes at one point. It's good stuff.
That was like how she got you to do it, right?
Yeah, she's like, there's beer. Just put this on.
Right.
Yeah.
It always comes back to getting drunk somehow.
You're like, this is my Tuesday night anyway, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting drunk, a little recap of my weekend. Nick, I think you know this. Mac, I'm not so sure. And for anybody listening, you know, if you know me well enough, you probably do. Not a craft beer guy. Don't like IPAs. Don't really do like a whole lot of weird, crazy shit. I'm a light beer guy. Like if it's mass produced, it's mass produced for a reason.
I do know this about you. It's the Mickey. You're the Mickey guy.
I am the Mickey guy. I'm a Bud Light guy. If, you know, Blue Moons are fancy to me, whatever. Okay. Well, we were in, me and my girlfriend were in Ocean City this past weekend, and we went to one of my favorite places in the world, Dewey Beer Company, right in Dewey Beach.
It's a good spot.
Right across the street from Starboard. For those of you local in the Maryland, Delaware area, great place. Best soft pretzels in the world. They do it right.
Dean left his wallet, debit card, and dignity there one time.
Yeah, I was pretty damn close. Well, anyways, you know, my girlfriend likes the sour beers. That's like what her family does. Not a big sour beer guy. They got that like thick consistency. It's
I don't like them.
I'm glad we all agree on that. Ari likes them too. Right. It's not really my thing. If I wanted
I
something,
respect them. I know a lot of people fucking love them, so I got nothing against them.
It's not my thing.
I can't drink them. They taste funny to me.
It's not really my thing either. And sour in general, like I'm not a big candy guy. Like if you give me dessert options, I'm going cake and ice cream all day. I don't do like all the warhead sour candy shit. However, she gets a flight and it's like these 4 like weird flavors, like orange this, cranberry that, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. Sours on tap are truly different than sours in a can, night and day. And I'm not a big, like, you know, some people are like, oh, I only drink it on tap. I'm like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Like,
and I'd take that one step further. I would go ahead and say that, like, at least just me, maybe I'm just nuts. Sometimes the beers I get in a flight taste completely different than the ones I get in a glass. And I know they're coming from the same place. Yes, I know I sound crazy, but I don't know. Hard to explain.
So anyways, long story short, I tried some of her flights, loved them. We ended up getting like 3 more flights. It was a great time. I ended up buying a 4-pack of sours. The cans look really cool, but for anyone who's not like a big craft beer or sour fan, if you're in the Dewey area, go to Dewey Beer Company. Food's phenomenal. Staff is great. The drinks are awesome. So just wanted to get that out there. It was a good experience. Had a good time. So
yeah.
That's all I got for, you know, weekend drama. Anything else for you guys?
Not really. Not much.
All right. Well, before we get into the episode, a couple things to cover. We are going to have a full merch drop. We will be announcing that on Instagram when it is officially live. So be on the lookout for that. We finally have the samples finalized. So when the store is ready, we'll let you know. And we'll be shouting that out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the good stuff. Mac, do you have a topic of the day for us?
I sure do. It's a question, and I wrote just one word in the doc. I'm not sure if you can guess what the hell I'm talking about in there, but it's a college hockey question. I'm wearing a BC sweater,
Nice,
so
nice.
we go for a college hockey question. And the question I have for you boys is, if you could play for any D1 college hockey program, which program would you choose and why?
Well, of course, Nick is going to choose green.
I'm wearing the
Jesus.
sweatshirt, baby. Come on, it's
Is
rivalry
water
week.
wet? Like, yeah,
Right.
That's like clockwork.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a hot take here, and I actually thought of this answer pretty cool, but I'm a big fan of what Arizona State's bringing these days. I like the new school vibe they've got going. The jerseys are great. It's a sunny area. I'm sure, there's a lot of great things that come with Arizona colleges. But yeah, I'd probably choose Arizona State. Seems like a good time.
That's a good one. I think if I had to go outside of Sparty, I would probably do Minnesota Duluth, just because they,
You're old
put-
school. Yeah.
they put 2 boats on the water in the last 3 or 4 seasons. So, I mean, that's nothing to scoff at. I'd have a hard time. I think I would doing BC or BU. Maybe
Okay,
somewhere I don't know, Northeastern would be kind of cool. North Dakota would be pretty cool. I think probably there, just for the atmosphere in itself.
Sure. I think, I say I'm wearing the BC sweater mostly because my mom went to BC and she's a big BC football and hockey fan. And so, I'll root for them. And so that's what comes to mind first, but I don't think I would choose them. It's a little too high stakes. I wouldn't want to be I don't know, that in the center of everybody's attention constantly and playing with a bunch of guys that are every single year you're going to lose people to the NHL. It seems like a bit much. I think a sleeper one that I would maybe pick is Denver. I've been to that campus.
That's a good one.
It's a good area. It's a cool town. The school itself is really good school. The campus is gorgeous. I got a chance to go inside the rink and it's just, it would be a sweet home barn to play in.
Yeah.
And I like their colors too, which it's kind of the same as BC, the maroon and white type thing. But I think it's good, college colors.
It's a great question, Mac.
Yeah.
Made me think a little bit. Also, I think Mario Lemieux's son either was either last year or maybe still on the team. His son is on the team for Arizona State.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin.
I love how none of us said Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
It just says all you need to know about this podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Right?
One other sleeper that I will mention real quick, and I hate that I have to say this because fuck the Badgers, but I gotta say I would maybe choose UW just because
really
Madison is a phenomenal town. It's a ton of fun. I'm sure it'd be fun to go to school there, but I went to Marquette, so I gotta hate them, and I don't.
Rightfully so.
I fucking hate their football team. That's for sure.
I think going back to your point about BC, or I said I wouldn't want to do BC or BU. I think it would be cool to play in the Bean Pot though.
Oh yeah. There's so much that goes into this question. You got to think about what unis do you want to rock, who has the sickest arena, what city would be fun. That's why it'd be fuck no, not going to North Dakota, because it's what the hell are you going to do around there besides play
hockey for North Dakota? That's it.
But you also, I guess, don't want to have too many distractions. If you go somewhere super sick, well, I guess none of them are really in crazy. There's no LA school or
Arizona
Florida.
State, isn't it? Isn't Arizona State the biggest population wise? It's one of the top 5.
What part of Arizona is it located in? Do you know?
No fucking clue. Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
What I do know is that I think they have over 60,000 students. It's top 5 in the country in terms of student population. It's huge, massive school,
and still bottom 5 in GPA.
But it's all that counts, baby.
Yeah,
you got to have one or the other. You can't have it all.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's a fun question, but
no, I like that one. That was good. Well, we got a lot to cover in today's episode. We're 2 weeks into the NHL. So before I toss it off to Nick for the league news, let's take a minute to talk about today's sponsor, Brackish Life. If you're like us and grew up on the water and outdoors, then Brackish Life is perfect for you. They have a wide selection of gear from UV shirts to hoodies and hats. It's Real Bay apparel made by Real Bay people. Head to www.brackish.life today to check them out. A little salty, a little fresh, Brackish Life. Brackish Life has also teamed up with Rink to Reef Chesapeake Bay to preserve the area many of us call home. Rink to Reef repurposes broken hockey sticks into oyster restoration habitats. Brackish Life donates a portion of their proceeds to Rink to Reef to further preserve the beautiful Chesapeake Bay area. Support this great cause by checking out www.brackish.life today. Nick, all yours.
All righty. Well, let's get we're going to start with a hot hand, and that hot hand belongs to Connor McDavid. It is his league. We just happened to watch it, really. If you look at his numbers, he's got 13 points in 5 games so far this season. And don't look now, but the Oilers are 5-0. Just saying.
This is absolute. I don't even know what adjective to use. I can't describe how much he's dominating. 13-5 is nuts. He's 2 points away from 3 points per game. Big math guy over here. If he were to keep up at this pace, he would eclipse the 150 point mark, which is crazy to think about. Raise your hand. What's up?
This is going to fall off.
You think? I don't know, man.
For the team, it absolutely
Yep,
team
right there.
Team.
Yeah.
Now listen, fall off. I think the Oilers
we know he's winning the Art Ross. We know he's gonna, be well over 100 points this year, by miles.
100?
Yeah.
I'd say well over 120.
I think we could be talking about the other number too, but it's just, I just cannot, after everything I've seen for the last 10 years of watching the Edmonton Oilers, tell you that this is going to continue.
They won't. I mean, they're not going to be this good all year. They're going to definitely level out. I think it'll be similar to last year, where like he and Draisaitl will hold 50% or more of like the total points scored by that team by the end of the year. But I mean, I think what he's doing is somewhat sustainable. Like, I don't think he can do it quite. I mean, obviously, you're gonna fall off a little bit at some point, but I fully expect him to be like, again, above 120, like Harrison said, maybe even higher than that. I don't know.
Well, let's talk for a second about the poll we had on our story today. Harry, I think you were the one that put that up there. It was Whitney's quote saying that McDavid is the best player to have played in the NHL to this point. I don't understand how you can say that that's not true.
And to clarify the quote for those listening, if you haven't heard it, Whitney on Chicklets was saying that McDavid is the best player who's ever played in the NHL. It doesn't mean he has the best career. Doesn't mean he has all the records.
On pure talent alone.
It doesn't mean he's the winningest. It doesn't mean he's the best leader, but on pure talent alone, yeah, I don't know how you disagree with that. I mean, this guy's standard is 120 minimum. It's crazy. Mac's going to say something.
Go ahead.
The only thing that I would add to this conversation is just that I think it's hard for me to commit to that answer based on the way it's worded, like the best hockey player. And like, when I think about that, I feel like you got to think about all the elements of hockey, which is why I would almost change it to be like the best, like, offensive player or something like that. Best
talent.
Yeah. Maybe. Like best talent makes sense. I agree with you there.
Best skill set.
Yeah. The one reason why I'm like kind of held back is because like his physical part of the game, like he doesn't hit, he doesn't like, to do like, he's not like a physical guy. And I think that's part of hockey.
He's not like, I mean, let's be real, if you were going to pick like the most complete hockey player of all time, it's Gordie Howe. Like, it's just not even up for debate at this point.
Right.
So, but yeah,
I don't disagree with you.
If you would pick the best player, everyone says Gretz, it's,
That's what I'm saying. So it's just, there's definitely like subcategories to it and stuff, but I just want to like add that little footnote because I feel like when you talk about the best hockey player that we've seen to this point, there's so many things that are aspects of the game of hockey, and like maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but I don't know. That's just what I think.
So I get what you're saying, and I agree. I have a tough time saying he's the best hockey player. He's definitely the most eye-catching and probably skilled player we've ever seen. Um, but man, if he gets one or maybe two cups and he keeps putting up numbers like this and he wins an Art Ross from now until the year 2027 every single year,
Plus,
he's going to be up there.
Like, how much more is it going to add to that discussion if he leads the Oilers to a Stanley Cup?
Exactly. If he does it with the Oilers, it means a whole lot more than if he jumps ship and, goes somewhere with,
and then
Sports
Center becomes unbearable with 99 and 97 comparisons for the next 40 years. So
yeah, it's just crazy what he's doing. I mean, if you have time, watch the Oilers. He can't miss television. They play Wednesday night against the Flyers in Philly. So you have Eastern time zone there. Put it on. I mean, it is truly incredible to watch. Zach Hyman is a goal per game player on his line. Like, it's crazy. So we'll get into a lot more. We'll get a lot more Oilers talk in the gambling segment of this episode, but just wanted to throw that out there. It is nuts what the Oilers are doing right now.
For sure. I think it's worth mentioning that the Hurricanes, Panthers, and Blues are also still unbeaten on this season. All right, we need to talk about the Chicago Blackhawks. So there's going to be two parts to this discussion. There's going to be the first part, which is how they've been doing as a team so far this season. And then the second part, which is basically what's come out about the team today, which is October 26th. So to start, this team is a dumpster fire right now, an absolute disaster, has not won a game to start the year. They've got multiple players and coaches in COVID-19 protocol. That list as of today includes Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Henrik Borgstrom, Riley Stillman, Jujhar Khaira, and coaches Mark Crawford, Tomas Middle, and Jimmy Waite. So basically, this is the Hawks team minus DeBrincat and Seth Jones.
And Seth Jones is statistically, according to advanced analytics, the worst player in the league.
Exactly. So
it's bad. And there's a lot more stats we're going to throw your way at the gambling part of this.
So this team, just what have you guys seen from them? That's, have you been able to watch any of their games? Do they just look bad? I mean, what have you guys seen so far?
I haven't watched an entire game because it's been too brutal to do so, but I've seen a period or two of 2 or 3 of their games so far. And it's just, they look like they don't have chemistry out there. You can see them.
Is lost the right word?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And I think it's funny because obviously, all this stuff came out today about them unrelated to their play on the ice. But this morning, before all that happened, I was saying to somebody that was asking me, what do the Blackhawks need to do? Because there's a lot of Hawks fans out here in, Midwest territory where Wisconsin doesn't have a team. But somebody was asking me, what do the Blackhawks need to do right now to get back on track? I thought you were saying they could be a sleeper team this year. And I did say
everybody
that.
Did.
I told them I think they need to fire the coach. I don't think this coach is the right fit for the team.
Colton, I think, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure where he came from, if he was promoted from within or what the deal was there, but
I think he was. Don't quote me on that.
I think they need to go out there and get somebody a little more on the radar, a little more
established.
Exactly. And until they do that, it looks like whatever he's doing is not clicking with the players that are on the ice because, like Nick said, they look lost.
So I was going to save this for the gambling portion at the end of the episode, but I got giddy, so I'm just going to do it now. Some fun stats for you about the Blackhawks. So their big move over the offseason was acquiring Seth Jones from the Columbus Blue Jackets, who, by the way, got a first-round pick out of this. And with how bad the Hawks are doing, you never know what that's going to turn into. When Seth Jones is on the ice, Chicago has been outscored 10-0 so far this season. I think there are 5 games in. On Sunday night, October 24th, Chicago broke the record for longest time spent without a lead to start an NHL season in NHL history. They went just over 16 periods without a lead. That record was broken on Monday night by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Did not see that one coming. Where they went 17 periods without having a lead. So the Hawks did hold an NHL record for 24 hours before the Lightning broke it. And their other massive offseason acquisition, Marc-Andre Fleury, so far has a 839 save percentage with a 5.74 goals against average.
Yeah, and my fantasy team is fucking hurting because of it. So.
Yeah, so it is not good in the Windy City right now. The Blackhawks are
same.
bad.
The only good news fantasy wise for me is that I could put Kaner on IR, but it's not good. I mean, from what I've seen, lost is the perfect word. I mean, passes completely off the mark, like 2 or 3 feet in front of and behind guys, just zone entry nightmares, zone exit nightmares, turnover nightmares. And, I think part of me, Harry, going back to what you were saying about like Seth Jones stats is, yeah, those numbers against him don't look great. And yeah, those numbers against Fleury don't look great. And yeah, they haven't been playing well. I'll be the first one to come out and say that. I think sometimes they can get a little inflated when the team around them is really dogging it, especially when it comes to the goalies. But number one defenseman, I mean, like Seth Jones, you're on the ice the most. You were on the ice basically nonstop in Columbus, and your numbers were still good there. So,
yeah. And even though it's unrelated to almost, everybody that's with the team currently, at least on the ice, what's happening with them in the media today and recently certainly doesn't fucking help.
No. And I think that
just knowing that people are out there condemning the team you play for as a whole franchise and being like, these guys suck. Like, again, even though it doesn't pertain to you particularly, like if you're freaking Seth Jones, this has nothing to fucking do with you. It doesn't help being on the team that's in the media right now in the worst way possible.
Absolutely. So let's touch on that a little bit. So we just want to recap everything that's gone on pretty much. What is it? It feels like it's like the last 3 or 4 months.
6,
something like that. I don't know. I'm not good at time anymore. So as of today, Stan Bowman has stepped down as the Blackhawks GM. The team CEO, Danny Ritz, have revealed that today on Tuesday. Bowman vacated his role following the conclusion of an independent investigation into alleged sexual abuse within the organization. I think it's worth noting here that Bowman is also out as the GM of the 2022 U.S. Olympic team.
Can I chime in one sec? For those who are unaware, this is dating back to the 2010 Stanley Cup run by the Hawks.
That's correct. So just a timeline recap for everyone. On May 7th of this year, a hockey player formerly affiliated with the Blackhawks hockey team filed a lawsuit against the organization. The player, who in the investigation is only named as John Doe, alleged that in May 2010, he was sexually assaulted by then video coach for the Blackhawks, Brad Aldrich. John Doe further alleged that the Blackhawks were made aware of the alleged assault soon after it occurred and failed to address the assault as an issue. So obviously some serious stuff here. The 107-page report from what was the company? Jenner and Block LLP or something like that were the ones doing the independent investigation. And this is basically what they found in their findings. It is undisputed that a sexual encounter occurred involving John Doe and Brad Aldrich, and that it occurred at some point between May 8th and May 10th is what they think. John Doe recalled that after Game 5 on May 9th, he was with a group at a bar in Chicago. He recalled that Aldrich was present and introduced him to a woman. He next recalled going to Aldrich's apartment with the woman. And before they entered the apartment, Doe recalled the woman left. Doe also recalled that Aldrich appeared to be unhappy when Doe followed the woman instead of entering his apartment. So regardless of the day that, something, occurred here, they are saying without a doubt that something actually did occur. John Doe, the player, which obviously this is an alias he's using, recalls entering the apartment where a small TV or computer was showing a horse race. He stated that Aldrich offered and made John Doe a beverage, an alcoholic beverage. He recalls Aldrich telling him that, Quenneville is, one of the guys that listens to him the most. And, he can help this guy get into the roster. This is a player that was not, on the active roster during this cup run. He was one of the Black Aces, an American Hockey League player that's called up to support the team in case there's an injury. You'll travel with the team. Occasionally you'll practice with the team. But really you're kind of just there as an extra body. These are guys that are typically trying to make NHL rosters. They're doing whatever it takes to get in and out of the lineup. They're working with these coaches, day in and day out to fine tune their game to make these NHL rosters. One of the, findings from this investigation, unfortunately, is that this coach used that power and this leverage to force this situation to happen. Doe stated that Aldrich invited him over to make him, he texted him saying like, hey, I know you've been in a hotel bar for a while. You've been in a hotel for a while. Why don't you come over? We'll talk about your game a little bit. We can watch some hockey. I'll make you some dinner, that kind of stuff. And I think it's fair to point out that that's really not that uncommon for another member of a hockey organization to do. If you guys, guys leave their homes at 14 and go live with billet parents, and older teammates and, older coaches will often step in to, drive younger players places or help them out with stuff. We saw it with, Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. They were living with Patrick Marleau. Sidney Crosby was living with Mario Lemieux for a while. This isn't, too far out of the question for, players to do this. Ovi lived with the Caps owner for like 6 months when he first came to the States. So, what seemingly was a nice gesture ended up in, the inevitable sexual assault occurring that night at the apartment. John Doe states that Aldridge basically took out a souvenir Chicago Cubs baseball bat and threatened that if he didn't, go through with this, that he would not only never play in the NHL, but never walk again. So ultimately at the end of this, the Hawks decide to, remove some of their staff. Frank Saravelli announced that the NHL is going to slap the organization with a $2 million fine. But I think at this point, my question to you guys is, it's just how could something like this happen? It's just horrible.
Yeah. I mean, the report, I just got home from work and I read a couple pages of it. I think you and Matt got to dive into it a little deeper, and it's, to put it mildly, disgusting. It's
which, like,
bad.
Before anyone goes and reads this, like, please, like, exercise caution, because it's about as graphic as you could get.
Yes, it's very graphic. So obviously horrible. I don't really have many more comments than that. I mean, there's not really much I'm kind of at a loss for words, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't want to say there's not much more to say, but I don't know what to say personally as me, Harrison, speaking. There are still active members that were a part of that 2010 Chicago team that are, 1, on the Blackhawks, 2, in other organizations, and 3, play pivotal roles on the Blackhawks or in the other organizations that they're on now. And it makes you wonder what is going to take place. And, I don't want to build this into a speculation, but one of the names that is brought up in the report is Joel Quenneville, who is right now head coach of the undefeated Florida Panthers and one of the Stanley Cup favorites going into this season. And you have to wonder what's going to take place now, because if you're on Twitter, you're seeing that he denied allegations of him knowing about this back in May of this year. And now, after you read this report, we're in October, it seems like, based on the report, that he knew all along. And there's direct quotes that prove that. So I'm not going to sit here and speculate, but I think it's worth noting that there are probably going to be some moves or actions made probably right after this podcast drops, to be honest with you, about some changes around the league.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. I'd say, excuse me, that the one thing that's already been done, fining the Blackhawks $2 million, although that is well over the typical fines we normally see in the NHL, I still don't think it's anywhere near enough when you think about how much the Blackhawks are worth. That's basically $1 billion franchise getting fined like less than 1% of what they're worth over something that to me is deserving of far more than that. Or not even just fines. Like I'm surprised they don't have to lose like draft picks or, have to like clean house or like I'm just very surprised that there wasn't
give up the
anything
championship
else.
too.
Yeah,
Is the
honestly,
one of the things I saw all over Twitter today was people calling for it, but
yeah, that'll never happen. But
yeah, Harry, you made a great point, is the fact that Panthers coach Joel Quenneville and Jets GM Kevin Shoveldayoff were made aware of these allegations in 2010. And one of the troubling quotes that surfaced was that they basically said like the team had worked so hard to get to the Stanley Cup, to the conference finals and to the cup final, that they didn't have time to deal with this, or they couldn't deal with it right now, which is just, it blows your mind to think about that.
Yeah. And, I didn't, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I briefly read through the report, but from what I saw, it sounds like they were in the midst of a series against the Sharks, potentially.
I think it was between the second round against the Canucks and the third round against the Sharks.
Yeah, it was right around that time, and the date is shaky, but it's right in that general.
Right. So I'm just trying to frame the picture in case someone's unaware of, putting all the time pieces together. It's the 2010 Blackhawks. They believe the incident happened between the semifinals and conference finals, second and third round, right when the San Jose series was about to start. Not that means anything. I'm just saying that in case you are unaware, you don't want to read the report because you don't want to, or it's too long, or you don't want to read the graphics that are in there. I wouldn't blame you, honestly. But yeah, so that's that. It's a story that I'm sure is going to have a lot more stuff come out as the coming days get rolling here. I mean, we're doing this on Tuesday. I would imagine something's going to happen with Quenneville by Friday, and I hate to turn this into I'm not going to, start speculating on all that, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Go ahead. One more thing. One of the worst parts about it is that fucker, the person in question here, actually got their name engraved on the cup and all that too. So
yeah,
pretty brutal.
Yeah, I think it is worth noting also, Mac, that Aldrich did go on to have, a couple other positions. He left the Hawks. I'm not sure how soon after that incident.
They basically gave him an ultimatum right after the cup and said, either we're going to investigate this or you can resign and we won't do anything about it. And he took that second option.
Yeah, he did. He was eventually arrested in 2013 and pled guilty to 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct involving a minor. Let's go ahead and move on. The Toronto Maple Leafs. I want to talk about them. The most overreaction prone fan base in sports.
But well, I'll say everything we just talked about with the Hawks being a dumpster fire right now makes this Maple Leafs team look like they're golden. Like
they're just as much of a dumpster fire. I mean, if you take away the, on ice stuff, I think they might be neck and neck. Off ice, I think the Hawks got them. But they got spanked by Harry's Penguins this weekend. And that's without Crosby, Letang, Malkin, Carter, or Russ. They lost 7-1.
Yeah, I was gonna say they got spanked by Harry's Wilkes-Barre Penguins.
Seriously.
Evan Rodriguez was the first line center. Half of you are probably saying who, and that's exactly my point. So yeah, it's not good up in Toronto. I think our boy Rick, he might be throwing back a couple more Molsons than usual.
Well, he canceled his car insurance.
Which... Yeah, I saw that. He is fucking funny, dude. He always makes me laugh. But Leafs then lose to the Hurricanes last night, Monday the 25th, by a score of 4-1, where Freddie Anderson obviously started for the Canes, thickens the plot. His best friend Austin Matthews scores his first goal of the season on him, but the Canes inevitably take the win and remain undefeated.
Good that Matthews got the monkey off his back. I mean, not even a monkey. I know he missed the first couple games and he's only played one or two, but still the fact that he got on the board is big. Just that hopefully going forward, now the team can kind of rally around some of his momentum, maybe if he starts to get hot.
That was
Yes.
also the first time those two had played each other since the David Ayers incident, I believe, right?
Yes, I think you might be right on that. I think you are right on that. So, knowing all of this, I'm going to lay out a couple more stats and then let's break it down. Mitch Marner, 14 straight games scoreless. That's not good when you're paying that guy that much money.
Trade
Toronto,
him.
Toronto is 0-3-1 in its past 4 and has managed just 1 goal in 3 of them. And you know, I don't know what to think about the Leafs right now. They look lost. John Tavares, I'm just gonna say it. He kind of sucks, and he's kind of washed. And I'm not holding back on that. You can say whatever you want. He's not it, dude. He's not the captain who's gonna lead you to the Stanley Cup. I'm sorry.
Hold up. Are we talking about the same John Tavares that was like their best player in the playoffs this past season? Because he was kind of a fucking monster in the postseason. Am I wrong?
He was well, they only made it 1 round, so let's
Well, yeah, but like that round
that
wasn't
way.
all 7 games. I'm pretty sure
he was
like,
good. He was good.
He was the
that
only
series.
one of the 4 that was stepping up.
yeah.
But he stink, dude.
However, I will agree with you. So far this season, I saw somebody tweeted that he looks like a ghost out there because they just barely notice when he's on the ice, and that's the best way to put it.
well, and it's true.
I
It's
thought they were saying that because he was waiting for chick flicks releasing their film on the 29th,
exactly.
right?
The
Yeah.
Drunken Spirits Ghost starring myself.
And John Tavares.
so Sheldon Keefe is completely on the hot seat. I'd say Kyle Dubas is slow. I mean, he's probably on the hot seat too. Everybody on the Leafs is on the hot seat except for, I'd say, Matthews, Riley, Marner. I guess actually Nylander would be safe. He played really well.
I don't think Riley's gonna, like, even if they kept Morgan Riley throughout this year, they can't re-sign him next year.
Dude, if I'm Morgan Riley, I don't even want to fucking resign.
Yeah.
I don't even want to resign here. Why would you? He's the whipping boy.
He is big time.
So if you're on Twitter and you like comedy, the Oak Leafs is one of the best Twitter accounts. I know Stephen Baker follows him now. He probably found that out through the pod. Let me read you a series of 3 tweets that went down last night. First tweet. During the first period, I hate to say it, but I think I've noticed Tavares on the ice about 3 times this year. He's an absolute ghost. That's the tweet that Mac was referencing. Start of the second period. This team is an empty shell. I don't know else how to put it. Start of the third period where they're already down 3-1. This is like watching a relative you dislike slowly die, which it just made me fucking laugh so hard because the dislike part is what really throws that comment, over the hills. But I guess what I'm trying to bring this full circle is tomorrow night we have the Drama Bowl, as I will call it. We
Big
have
time.
On Wednesday, October 27th, the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Toronto Maple Leafs at the United Center in Chicago. With everything we've just talked about for the past 20 minutes, I don't know what to think about this game. I have no clue. Mac, you have a big, like, you're just laughing. I'm like, what do you think?
It's going to be a funny one. It's going to be 2 teams desperate to be like, no, you suck more. No, you suck more. Like,
what's the bigger story? The Leafs winning or the Hawks winning?
I don't know, dude. That's the crazy part.
Depends if the Hawks are still. Wait, when is that game? Sorry, hold on.
Tomorrow night.
Okay, then yeah, I was gonna say depends on the Hawks if the Hawks can win before then, but that's their next game. So
yeah, and so I guess what I would say is originally before all this Blackhawks off ice stuff broke, I was big on the over for this game. I really am. I think that when you have 2 teams, especially the Leafs, considering Kane and Taves are on COVID protocol, when you have the Leafs who are this desperate for a win playing against an organization on the ice and off the ice that's beat down this much, you have to think the Leafs are going to put up like 4 or 5. They have to.
What's Fleury's GAA? You said it was like 5.5, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think the over tomorrow is kind of a lock. The only way I don't think it hits is if Chicago literally just doesn't score and the Leafs whip them 5-0. I can't imagine Chicago's coming back from this.
Yeah, it's tough because Fleury, you got to think at some point he's going to click and be Fleury again. And that's what worries me with betting against this Hawks team is like, how sustainable is it for them to literally not win a single game? Now again, your bet isn't necessarily against the Hawks. I like the over as well, I'd say, but again, the Hawks at some point, Fleury is going to not suck. Yeah.
And I agree with that. That's kind of why I'm leaning over. I smell 5-3 all over this. This smells like a 5-3, like 4-3 in the third. Empty net seals it. Over will probably be set at like 6.5. That's kind of how I'm feeling this out. I think I'm right on that. I have no idea what to expect from the Hawks. I mean, they're missing their two best players, so I don't know. Nick, any thoughts?
Yeah, I like that 5-3 range. I could see that happening. I could also see like 9-1, like
Well, you just gotta think. You have to think the Leafs are gonna fucking snap out of it and just crush them. Not saying they will. I'm not rooting for them. I'm not betting the Leafs. I'm betting the over, but the Leafs have to put up like 5 or 6. They just have to.
Yeah,
I think they're watch the game be 1-0 down. I look like a total moron. That's probably what's going to happen. But speaking of total morons, can we move on to the next
speaking
team?
of they just have to. Do we want to move
That's what
on
I'm
to the
literally
next one?
already laughing about before we talk about.
Yeah, I hate both of you. So the stupid fucking Seattle Kraken and stupid fucking's in bold on this notes we got here. But the stupid fucking Seattle Kraken dropped their first ever home game at Climate Pledge Arena to the Vancouver Canucks and Danny 4,500. 4-2 the final score. Nucks take the game. They come back from being down 2-1. Vince Dunn opened the scoring with a snipe in the first period with 3.2 seconds remaining on the clock. On the same night, the Kraken retired number 32 for being the NHL's 32nd franchise.
I'm sorry. I think that's so dumb.
Illuminati?
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Or the dumbest one has to go to Minnesota. They retired the number 1 for their fans because they're the best.
Yeah, that is pretty
okay.
awful.
That's actually like,
and
horrible.
You know what? I guarantee you that every goalie that gets to Minnesota, like signs with Minnesota, they're like, "Here I come. What number do you want to be?" And they're like, "I'll just take 1." And they're just like,
"Yeah, but which one?"
We actually have to talk to you about that
for the fans.
Any other number? It's just wait. Who played for you that was number 1? That was amazing. It
doesn't make any sense. I think it's dumb too. It's just everything the NHL does that's new is kind of corny in my opinion, and this just reeks of corny. But yeah, I put a lot of money on that. I lost a lot of money on that. I will never bet that team the rest of the season. So they're dead to me.
Ooh,
no,
is that the first one this year?
Yeah, they're dead to me.
Okay.
I'm officially at all that preseason hype shit where I was
crossing
like,
them out
of this. The defense is better than no, they're dead. Like
not
they
touching
suck.
them.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I forget what game that was, but Nick, you and I were texting before like the NHL slate started one night, and I think I cooked up some kind of parlay that included the Kraken to just not lose by more than 1. It was like +1.5 Kraken or whatever.
Yeah.
And I started watching that game and they ended up losing like 5-1 or 6-1 or something like that.
They're horrible.
And I watched like half of the game. They suck.
They're not good.
And that's why I didn't take the bet that Harry, because I mean I agree, like it's their first home opener. Yeah, they should win. But I had just watched that game like 2 days ago, and I was like, they looked like dick out there. Like I was talking about the Hawks looking like they have no chemistry. These guys were literally like,
none.
Guy has the puck behind his own net, and he just needs to like make a breakout pass. And it was like the power play too. Nobody was pressuring them, and they were just like missing passes, and they didn't know where each other were on the ice. And it was just like, it looked like a you go to a stick and puck, and everybody's like, oh, there's enough of us here to do a scrimmage. And they just split you into 2 teams, and like nobody has any chemistry because it's a bunch of random fucking guys from like the area that showed up on that given day. Like that's what that game was like for me.
That's a great way to put it. It kind of like, it almost reminds you of like watching like a Pee-wee game, except like they're not chasing the puck. They're just like going where the puck isn't because no one's hitting their passes. So it's just all over the place. Let's go ahead and move on from Harry's gambling woes. Rumor has it that the Jack Eichel camp is making one last push to the Sabres to let him proceed with the neck surgery he has been advocating for. I think it's also worth pointing out that while I am so sick of talking about this shit, that Vegas is apparently, of course, one of the front runners to land him. And I think it was Frank Saravelli. So, take that with what you will. Because that dude knows everything. He broke every expansion draft move before the Kraken could even do it. he said that Vegas is the front runner right now. So I don't know what's going on here. This is just
For
ridiculous
a while, it
at this
sounded
point.
like Anaheim, and then they just
Which like that makes sense to me.
They just said like today or yesterday that suddenly like there's been like no talks about Anaheim in the last like couple days or whatever. But again, all of it's hearsay. We don't even know when and if still this is fucking gonna go down. I say if because apparently, like Nick just said, like he could even still stay with the Sabres. Who knows? It's a whole mess.
I'm
Like Nick
sorry,
said,
but at this
I'm
point, you
sick of talking
can't
about
stay
it.
with the Sabres. It's done, dude. It's over with. Just move on. I mean, if that was me, I wouldn't want to stay there, but
No, he should just get the fuck out and
absolutely
worry about the surgery afterwards. I mean, maybe he's trying to make a push for the Olympics with like a last ditch effort of like hope, which I don't think is going to happen. So
Yeah.
It is what it is.
No, I completely agree. He should get the fuck out. And you know where he should go is the Detroit Red Wings, where he can join up with rookie Lucas Raymond, who scored a hat trick in his 6th career NHL game.
Yeah. Remember when we said Wings were fun team? And Nick, you pointed this guy out specifically. You said, watch out for that Lucas Raymond kid. He's really good. Well, in his 6th game, like Nick just said, recorded a hat trick against who else other than the Chicago Blackhawks, I believe. Am I right on that?
Yep.
I believe the Hawks fans were actually chanting, "Let's go Red Wings" by the end of the game. That's how bad they were.
They were, and that's a big no-no for a Hawks fan.
The Hawks have literally been booed off of home ice like a couple times this year.
Yeah. Raymond became the 2nd teenager in franchise history to record a hat trick, joining Hall of Famer and current GM of the Red Wings, Steve Yzerman. He became the 3rd teenager to record at least 4 points in a game for the Red Wings, joining, tell me if you've heard of this guy, Gordie Howe and Steve Yzerman. So
once or twice, those guys could play hockey, can confirm.
Also, good company to be in.
Shout out the Wings playing some pretty good hockey out of the gates without Jacob Vrana too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they got a lot of young guns. They're ready to go. Who was it? Nick, what's that defenseman?
Moritz Seider. Yeah.
Dude, he doesn't give a fuck. He's tough.
Like,
he not only is he offensively good, he's tough as shit. Like,
I think that's one of the things that, and he came out of he's German. He came out of like the German league and everything. And I think one of the things that people don't realize is how tough it is to play in that league. Those guys do not give one single fuck and they will run you over.
Yeah. I can't remember. Oh, Nick, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just was gonna say I can't remember who he was talking to. It was one of the like tough guys around the league. I can't remember what game it was, but maybe it was the Canadians and maybe it was Josh Anderson. I don't know, but Josh Anderson's a tough customer.
Yeah.
And how do you pronounce the name? Cider. It was like after the whistle, and they went to go get the puck, and Sizer just like knocked it away. And it was like supposed to be a game puck that they were going to give to the guy. And they started taunting him. He was like, I don't give a shit. This kid's like 19.
Was that against Tampa Bay?
Might have been Tampa.
Didn't he take the puck away from Edmond?
It was Pat Maroon, I think, who came up to him.
Oh, yeah, okay. He took it away from Hedman, and that's exactly what happened.
Which still, like, balls to you, dude. Go take it off, like, I don't know, the dude that's won the Norris Trophy how many times?
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. I love cider, especially with like a little bit of bourbon in it and like heat it up.
And that's where Max Bird is.
All right. So I want to hear some overall impressions from the first week, 2 weeks of NHL action. I want to hear your thoughts on the Caps so far. Harry, I want to start with you.
They look great. As much as we've sucked off McDavid so far, Ovechkin's right behind him in scoring with only 1 extra game played. He's got 12 points so far. Good to put him 2nd in the league. He's a scoring machine. That game last night in Ottawa, not gonna lie, I had a gut feeling when I woke up that morning. I was like, oh, Ottawa's gonna upset him. This has it written all over it. And then Max started talking, and I was like, God damn it, I'm gonna end up getting sold on this. I'm not gonna follow my gut. I ended up staying clear of the game, but Max Parlay did awesome. Shout out you, Mac. And Ovi with 2 goals in the 3rd period, I think. He's a freaking machine. I mean, Oshie with the hat trick. The Caps look like they're clicking on all cylinders, and Kuznetsov looks back to form-ish, close to it, better than last year.
Kuzi looks good. Ovi looks fucking awesome. Oshie looks good. I like the young guys too. LaPierre has contributed. McMichael is an assist or 2, I believe. I like everything I've seen about the offense. The defense is a little bit suspect. Farivari got like just outbodied on like a play that I really didn't like last night. And that's gonna happen. I mean, still figuring shit out.
Love his skating right now. I mean,
Yeah.
the way his back checking is awesome.
And shout out to him for scoring his first NHL goal the other day against Calgary. That was a big goal in that game, and it was a nice shot too. The one thing that, and we all knew this was coming, that I'm not sold on with the Capitals is, you guessed it, the fucking goaltending, because Samsonov looked like a buoy out there yesterday. Like
that is a great way to put it, Mac. He did look like a
floating
buoy.
around all over like the general area, and it's just like, God, it didn't even look like he knew where he was supposed to be or what he was doing. He got scored on 5 times. A lot of those I would like to have back. Vanacek has looked good, except for that Calgary game where he got yanked in the first period after giving up 3, or I guess it was after the first period after giving up 3.
Which I don't necessarily fault.
No,
I put the entire blame on him.
He's actually looked great, and I think it's worth mentioning that this man has had 4 starts this NHL season, Vitek Vanacek. Out of the 4 games he has started, 3 of those games he took a shutout into the 3rd period. I've been saying all along that I don't know what it is, but this guy just loves to take a shutout into the 3rd period and then usually allow like 1, maybe 2 goals in the 3rd. Last year, and again, this was a 56 game season. I don't know exactly how many starts he got last year. I should look that up. But to quote Ferris Bueller, it happened 9 times that Vitek Vanacek took a shutout into the 3rd period of 9 different hockey games last year alone. And then he did it 3 more times to start this season. I think that guy's actually the real deal. And I've said it all along. I think he's going to take the starter's crease from Samsonov. I would like it to happen immediately because I'm sick of Samsonov's bullshit. I'm not sold on that dude. And I don't know why the Caps are so hell bent on getting him to be our starter. But
well, I think that it's because they drafted him as high as they did. I think, I completely agree with you. Everything that Caps fans, you should want to know about your goaltenders is who came out there on night 1 to start that game against the Rangers. Yeah. Vanacek, they've gone with him.
VV, baby.
Exactly.
If I was a Caps fan, I'd be team VV up to this point.
Absolutely.
Sure. Okay, that's enough chatter about that team.
Harry, let's hear your thoughts on your poopy pants Penguins.
They look good, man. I got a big smirk on my face. I can't wipe it off. I mean, if you would have told me that we're 6 games into the season, 5 games into the season, and our 2 leading scorers would be Danton Heinen and Drew O'Connor, and we wouldn't have lost a game yet, I would have probably said Drew on crack. So I can't really complain that much. They're playing the Lightning right now. We'll see how that goes. I have a little bit of dough on the Pens. They've been playing well. Lightning have been playing bad, but yeah, man, total team effort. We don't have Carter. We don't have Russ. We don't have Malkin. We don't have Crosby. We don't have Letang right now. I mean, we don't have anybody. So it's been a full team effort. One name, I won't go on a huge Penguins tangents. Don't worry. One name you do want to remember, though, this kid, Drew O'Connor. I was going to bring him up in the opening division preview when we were doing it, but he wasn't projected to be in the lineup. Obviously, Carter was still healthy at that time, all that good stuff. He's good. He's really good. And he's a big body, too. He reminds me of like a more skilled Sam Lafferty. I'm sure Caps fans kind of know who Sam Lafferty is. He's played some big games against you guys, but Drew O'Connor, he can play, man. I'm very impressed with what I've seen from him. He played great in preseason. Danton Heinen, I think he came over from Anaheim in the offseason, and he put up 3 goals.
He was in Boston for a minute too.
Yeah, he's looked sharp. So, when the boys get healthy, that'll be nice. I'm still looking for more out of Kapanen. I expect him to have a huge season. Doesn't have a goal yet, so keep an eye on that. But Pens look good. I'm happy with it.
What do you think of the goaltending so far?
Jari's look good. I don't know. I should have tweeted this out, and I apologize that I didn't. He's actually 16-1 in his he's 16-1-2 in his last 19 games regular season at PPG Paints. So I knew
Wow.
I'm telling you, like up until the playoffs last year, he was good. Like he's been to an all-star game. He played well last year. He just fell apart in the playoffs. A goalie that we're familiar with that around here in Pittsburgh. But yeah, I think he's been good so far. I'm not going to hate that game in Florida. That was tough. DeSmith started that one. They came back and beat us, but Florida's a wagon, so I can't really complain. Pens look good. That's it. I'm done. You got anything? Okay, thanks.
What about the rest of the Metro?
Well, I think it's a no-brainer that the fact that the Caps and the Penguins are both off to a good start only means more trouble in the Metropolitan Division, because we said at the beginning of the year we expect the Islanders and probably the Hurricanes to be the top two teams in this division by the end of the season. I'm not ready to jump ship on that prediction just yet. I still believe that in my heart. But that just makes it that much more complicated, because the fact that the Pens and the Caps are neck and neck. No, we're only a couple of games into the season, but I was certainly hoping that, with the Pens missing as many guys as they are, they would fall. I was hoping for them to have like a Blackhawks or a Leafs type start where they like don't get their first win until like their fourth or fifth game. Then they would lose a couple more and they have to do the classic thing where they're like playing catch up all season. But don't think it's going to be that easy. It's looking like it's going to be just about as competitive as we expected.
Yeah, to back that up, Mac, the Metro is the only division in the NHL right now that does not have a team with a losing record in it.
I actually just saw that. You want to know another fun stat? If you combine the records of every team, don't include the overtime losses, the Metropolitan Division is 28-7. That's
Wow.
a 4-1. That's a 4-1 win to loss ratio.
Wow.
Again, not including overtime losses, but that's fucking nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, the worst record in the Metro is the Flyers. They've only played 4 games and they're 2-1-1. Just for point of reference, the Central has 2 teams that have not won games yet through 6 games, and the Pacific has 3 teams that have 1 win.
Okay, so I know that next in our topic discussion, we're talking about ESPN broadcast. Fuck Steve Levy. That's all I got to say. I don't have much. Let's talk about the Blues. The Blues, guys, you two sold me on them in those division previews, and man, did they look good.
I feel like they've had like a couple fluke years ever since winning that cup. That's still a good hockey team.
Yeah.
They're a great hockey
really
team.
Good.
Yeah,
David Perron is a monster. I'm
monster.
so glad that I drafted him on my fantasy team.
That's a really good fantasy move.
And Nick, I know we talked about him a little bit, but that guy Jordan Kyrou, he's popping off.
Yeah,
right now.
he's awesome.
Real good.
Yeah, he looks really good. I think he's going to be like top 3 forward for them at some point. I wouldn't be shocked if he was the team's leading scorer in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you on that.
While we're talking about them real quick, do you think that Tarasenko is going to play there all year or get moved at some point?
I don't know. He seems pretty happy there right now.
Yeah, it's tough. I think I read a Frank Saravelli tweet about him still wanting out like a week ago, but dude, he's got like 6 points in 5 games and scored an unreal highlight goal the other night.
He still wants out apparently, but at the same time, he's doing well. The team is doing well, and doesn't sound like, I know it's early, but I still wouldn't expect the Blues to be sellers at the trade deadline. I expect them to be buyers. And so for that reason, I kind of think he'll be there all year.
Yeah, if they keep playing like this, I don't think he should want out at all. So good for them. I mean, I like the Blues as a team. It's hard to really root against the Blues, I would say, unless you're a Hawks fan or something. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nice jersey, Mac.
Thoughts on the Sabres so far?
Wow. They thumped the Lightning the other night. I mean, talk about 2 teams that were on the complete. So much. They were 2 teams on the complete opposite side of the spectrum last year, collide in the 5th game of the season, and the Sabres upset the Lightning. I think they were like plus 180 on the money line. Would have been worse if they were on the road. I mean, I guess we can tie the conversation together. The Lightning look awful. They set the record. They had set the record for longest time without a lead. As I stated earlier, they broke the Blackhawks record the day after.
They did win 2 games, but they were both in overtime. So technically they didn't.
They never led. Yeah.
They never elapsed time in a game with a lead.
Correct.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you guys, I haven't really watched much of either. up to this point? Do you guys have any more input?
No, the Sabres have been pretty impressive. They're 4-1-1 to start the year through 6 games. And I think for everyone that would have just assumed that they would be 0-6-0, you have to say hats off to them.
For sure. And like, I want to assure everybody they will still be one of the worst teams
Absolutely
by the end of the year. It's great that they're off to a good start, and I'm glad that their fans can have some enjoyment before all the chaos, but there will be chaos, and it will be in large quantities throughout the year.
For sure. Real quick before we get to some signings, injuries, trades, and suspensions, we just want to highlight the 3 stars of the week from NHL.com. The first is Kyle Connor. He led all scorers with 5 goals, 3 assists, and 8 points in 3 games, tallying multiple points in each contest. Connor McDavid's the second star, scoring 3 goals, having 5 assists for 8 points in 3 multi-point performances. And Ilya Sorokin is 3-0-1 with a 0.99 GAA, a 971 save percentage, and 2 shutouts on the year.
And that is the only thing bailing me out of the fact that I also have Fleury. I literally have like the best and worst goalie on my fantasy team, and
he looks
keeping
good.
Fleury on the bench until he figures this fucking shit out.
He looks really good. So before we hop into any other signings and all that nonsense, we just want to remind everyone that summer may be over, but there's still never been a better time to get out on the water. If you're looking to finance that new boat or yacht you've always dreamed of, well, you're in luck because the Yacht Lender is a specialist in marine finance. With partnerships with 15 different banks, he is the right lender for whatever vessel you may be in the market for. Backed by Trident Funding with over 25 years as an industry leader, the Yacht Lender has the expertise and know-how to finance the boat of your dreams. Don't wait. Apply today at www.yachtlender.com or check him out on Instagram at yachtlender to see others who have already gotten out on the water. All right.
There's never been a better time to get on the water than October 26th. Let me tell you something.
Exactly. Bring your mountain climbing gear and freeze your balls off. It'll be great.
Did he have the Fort Lauderdale show in there somehow? Because he's leaving tomorrow.
Aren't those over with now, or did I cut it out too early?
Nah. Just the small details. Doesn't matter. No, he leaves tomorrow. He'll be there. He'll be there all weekend.
Okay. So fly down to Florida and see Yacht Lender.
Can find him in Mexico in 3 weeks. That would also be a fun time. So
I don't know if you want to do that.
I don't think you want to do that. And if you're a financial advisor, I think he's hiring. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Plus, I have a feeling you'd be hurting a lot on the way home from that trip. And speaking of hurting, there is no specific return date for Sidney Crosby that has been specified at this time. Crosby admitted in a press conference that he has had a wrist injury since returning from the Olympics in 2014, where Ryan Reeves hit him in the first game back from the Olympics, and the injury has nagged him ever since. Harry, thoughts on this one? Suddenly hate Ryan.
I'm team fuck Ryan Reeves. That's all I gotta say. I'm on board. So
team 43.
I can't root. What'd you say?
I said, welcome aboard. It's good to have you on the ship.
Yeah, I'm team fuck Ryan Reeves officially. So thank you.
Nice. Nick Robertson. This one sucks. I feel really, really bad for this kid. He's out at least 10 weeks with a broken leg. The Leafs forward broke it while playing with the Marlies on Sunday. And then Blue Jackets defenseman Dean Kukin is out for the next 8 weeks with a fractured wrist. We did have a trade, actually. The Sharks traded forward Dylan Gambrell to the Sens for a 2022 7th rounder, which I think belonged to them initially in the first place anyways.
That's a weird one.
I know. Just totally random. Before we hop into our gambling stuff for the week, I think Mac has a word for us from Sharp Rank.
Yeah, just wanted to remind you that this season, all of our picks are powered by Sharp Rank. Sharp Rank created the first ever cross-sport rating system, ranking bettors from any sport on the leaderboard that anyone can dominate, even you. Sharp Rank is backed by some of the biggest names in the sports gambling world, such as BetMGM, Betway, and Sports Illustrated. Download the free app for iPhone and Android today. And now, Harrison.
Alrighty, Harry.
Very excited to talk
turning the
trends.
Visor upside down and backwards and putting the sunglasses on indoor.
Visor and the sunglasses on for those of you watching on YouTube. Thank you.
It was a tough week for me last week. So, we got to switch up the mojo a little bit. We were ice cold to start, but, Mac, I think you steered the ship last night. So I give you a lot of credit. All right, fellas, let's get into it. So first things first, the most surefire bet in sports right now we talked about it at the start. McDavid over 1.5 points. It has to be, a better paying dividend than any Charles Schwab or Fidelity Mutual type shit that your company's got you invested in. Better than your 401k. I can assure you that. Here's my tip. If the Oilers are at home, key is at home, they put up like 4 or 5 goals a game when they're at home. So I would be more inclined to throw money on the McDavid prop when he's at home. That's just my finding. Nick?
I totally agree with you. My only reservation with these bets is the value.
The value is
It
not
blows. Great. Yeah. And of course, some nights it's just not going to hit. So it's tricky because you want to not accidentally get it on the wrong night. But
if our site would allow us to parlay it with something.
I know. It's so fucking frustrating.
I would agree with that. So what I'm saying is McDavid over 1.5 points when he's at home. You can usually get the value around like minus 150, although it's probably going up at this point. We might actually see like minus 170 here shortly, which is kind of nuts to say. So that brings me to your next best value bet right now for the Oilers. Zach Hyman. He's got 5 goals in 5 games so far. PP1 unit, playing on the first line. He looks phenomenal. You can find value for him to score a goal, usually around, I think that like plus 140-ish value, somewhere around in there. So a little bit better bang for your buck. Not as much of a surefire option, but so far, so good for Zach Hyman bets. Fun fact, especially for all you Leafs fans, Zach Hyman has more goals than Tavares, Nylander, Matthews, and Marner combined. Just
Ouch.
food for thought. So
that hurts.
That's always a fun stat.
I love that bet. I think that's awesome. I went out of my way to draft this guy on my fantasy team because he got traded to the Oilers or because he signed with the Oilers, whichever one it was. He's playing with significantly more firepower than he was last year.
Yeah. So. And playing with Connor will do that for you. My next point, Nick just touched on it with the NHL Stars of the Week, but Ilya Sorokin is red hot right now and easily off to the best start out of all the goalies in the league. So that brings me to New York Islanders unders when Sorokin is starting. When you're putting up numbers like that and with the way that the Islanders play, I think the under in Islanders games with Sorokin and net is definitely a good option right now.
It's literally a doubly good option for that reason because they don't have a ton of offensive star power. They're also going to play a lot of Metro teams because that's the division they're in. And all those teams are pretty good. So, yeah.
Plus, it's a trot system, and they have the best D pair in the league.
They're going to win games 2-1, 3-0, 3-1, shit like that. Definitely when Sorokin's in there. And this is the tough thing about publishing picks for the NHL. Every single day, I can't decide what I'm betting in the NHL until I refresh Daily Faceoff enough so that it has the goalies confirmed and I know who's in net, because that matters a fuck ton for deciding who you're going to bet on.
If you're deciding before 5 p.m., you must know something that we don't.
Yeah.
It's like basically starting quarterback for those who are, kind of new here. So yes, seeing who the goalie is very important. I would say if Islanders are at 6.5, definitely under. 6 under, 5.5. Think about it, see who the opponent is, but probably under is what I would say.
6 is always nice too, because you do get the push.
Yes, agreed. Lucas Raymond, we talked about him earlier in the show, but the rookie sensation for the Red Wings looks red hot right now. So keep an eye for him on prop bets. That's probably going to get you some good value just to get a point. Forget the goal.
2 more to go along with him. DeBrincat with everyone out for the Hawks. That goal scoring is going to have to come from somewhere, and all that guy does is shoot the puck. So I would do him. And then Kubalik's a good one too. And then Miro Heiskanen, he's got 2 or 3 goals to start the year already. I know that's
might
tough.
Be back.
I know that's tough for a defenseman to do a prop to get a goal, but if you're feeling dangerous one night,
it's always great value for defensemen. So
he's always a good one for like 1 or 2 points too.
Yeah, absolutely. Conor Garland, 6 game point streak, 6-6. Can't argue with that. Showing consistency. So why not? Canucks look okay so far, especially if they're playing fucking Seattle. The Penguins have yet to lose in regulation as we're recording this. They are playing the Lightning right now, as I said earlier. They've been dogs. They're dogs right now at home. If you would have tell me how many times the Penguins have been underdogs at home in the last 10 years. It's not often. So take that as a gift. They're playing well. It's because all the stars are out.
Very good point.
I would be a little more confident in the Pens, even with all the stars out. And Drew O'Connor, prop bets, mentioned him earlier. Keep an eye. 5 games into the season. Now, a lot of degenerate gamblers, and I know one in particular who listens a lot. You first period junkies are nuts. That's way too much adrenaline for me to just hit it right off the bat. First period unders for the Lightning. The Lightning are the only team in the NHL so far who have not scored in the first period of a game. And if I'm looking correctly right now, as I'm getting a live update, the Penguins and Lightning just ended the first period 0-0, another first period under for the Bolts. Keep an eye on that. I can't explain why, but that's a stat that's useful. That's 6 straight games where the Lightning haven't scored in the first.
I think they also just tend to not give up goals in the first too as a team. They tend to like to play out that first period zip.
That's actually a good point. Maybe just the under in general for games that they're playing in for that first period.
Right. Yeah. So something to keep an eye on. I know that's a big thing for the D-gens out there. So keep an eye. Panthers 5-0 start, probably the best team that's left that's undefeated other than maybe the Canes. The value sucks for them, but I just think that's worth noting.
Might want to wait and see this week.
Yeah, especially like we said with the Quinville stuff, we'll see. Game of the week, the Drama Bowl. We already touched on it once, but here's my breakdown of it. I probably wrote way too much, so I'll go through this quick. The Leafs are in shambles, and the city of Toronto might riot if they keep this up. The Leafs play the Canes on 10/25, where they lost. So knowing that, they are going into the Blackhawks game on Wednesday, the 27th. I don't care who's in net. I don't care about any of that shit. It doesn't matter. This is one where you don't need to look at the goalies. I'm taking the over in this game. I don't care what it's set at. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares, Riley, they have to put up like 4 goals at least. I'd say 5. I say 5-3 written all over this. I hope I'm right. I will be going heavy on the over tomorrow night. So full disclaimer, I'm on it.
Nice.
What do you guys think?
I think over is a good one for that game. I think with the way that the Hawks defense has been, and I think the Leafs are going to have to wake up at some point. I mean, they can score. We know we have that, or they have that firepower as a team. I mean, they wouldn't be paying all that money not to get it. So it's going to wake up sooner or later, you would think.
Mac, thoughts? You got the hot hand.
Yeah, I like the over in that game. Makes sense to me. I think that the Leafs will probably win, but I don't think I'll be messing with any money lines on that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally random prop, but Nick Johnson to get a point lately. I mean, he's been skating really well. He's been assisting. I mean, he's, on like 2 big goals the last 2 games. He's scored the other night.
Sure. Yeah.
Nick
he also should have one more goal than he does because he scored. Well, he shouldn't. It was offside, but he scored a rocket of a goal in that home opener against the Rangers, and it got called back because we were way the fuck offsides. But nonetheless, he scored a rocket that didn't count. So
yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the next portion of our gambling segment today, we are going to give you our future picks for the NHL Individual Player Awards. That's the Calder Trophy for the best rookie, the Norris Trophy for the best defenseman, the Vezina for the best goaltender, the Art Ross for most points, and the Rocket Richard for the most goals. So to get us going here with the Calder Trophy for best rookie, it will be the Florida Panthers goaltender Spencer Knight coming in at a plus 1,000. Mac, who do you have?
I have Cole Caulfield at plus 300, one of the more obvious picks, but that's what I said before the season started, and I'm not so sure I agree now, but it's also early, so.
Yeah. It's kind of hard for me to, say that Spencer Knight's going to win this when Bob has actually looked somewhat decent, but
it looks great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had Spencer Knight as well, so I'm with you.
Yeah. Norris, interesting take for me on this one. I'm going to go Jacob Slavin at a plus 1,700 solely on value. I think this is a guy that with a team that's as good as Carolina is and can score as much as this guy can.
And I think Freddie Anderson and net a lot of the time.
I think he can put up a lot of points and they can be a good team. And it's like all that is just going to roll into him having a Norris season. That's what's going on in my brain.
It is good value. I don't hate that at all. Yeah. I took Cale Makar for plus 350, another slam dunk, but I really think he's going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to become more of an offensive defenseman award, and there is no better offensive defenseman right now than Cale Makar, in my opinion. So Avalanche will turn it around. Slow start, but
I
they'll be good.
fully expect to come back at the end of the season and you guys be 100% correct.
Yep.
The Vezina for best goaltender. I'm going to go with Marc-Andre Fleury. I know, stay hot, Nick. Plus 1,000. Not off to a great start, but I have a feeling he's just going to turn it around and go back to back.
Those odds have to have changed.
Oh, so just as a like general rule of thumb, we listed these before the season started. All the odds are from before the first game was played. So this is kind of us seeing how things have aged a little bit.
Yep.
The Fleury one,
that might be plus 10.
I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing this to it. So.
Yeah, adding zeros to
Yeah.
it. Exactly. I still like my pick. I went with Connor Hellebuck. The Jets aren't as hot yet as I thought they would be, but I'm sure they'll get there. I still love this team to make a lot of noise this year, and I think the only way they do that is from super strong goaltending by the super strong goaltender, U.S.-born Connor Hellebuck.
I'm with Mac on that, plus 1,000.
That's a great pick as well. The Art Ross, who did you guys have winning this one?
If you pick anything other than McDavid,
you can all say it at the same time. 3, 2, 1. McDavid.
Connor McDavid. Yeah, he minus 285. Like he's minus, before the season started to win
an award.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. And Rocket Richard, we have 3 different answers on this one. 3, completely different players too, which is kind of cool. Harry, go first for this one.
I had Alex DeBrincat. Obviously, the Hawks are not looking great. And he hasn't played, out of his mind or anything so far. So I'm not really confident on that pick. I don't think any of us saw the Hawks coming out as slow at the gate as they have so far. But for plus 1,700, I thought it was a good value. He's going to be playing with Kane. Not feeling great on that. I'd probably pick Ovi or McDavid at this point. But yeah.
I said Austin Matthews at plus 300 again before the season started. And again, he definitely still could do it. However, I'm mad at myself for this one because I'm such a homer. I always want to pick Caps people. And I really almost did pick Ovi for this one, but I kind of smacked myself on the wrist and I was like, don't do it. Don't be a homer. Pick somebody who actually is probably going to win it. But deep down, I knew that Ovi wants one more fucking Rocket. And I think that if he's going to get one more, this is the year to do it while he's still, not too old. And I definitely think he could. I really think Ovi could end up winning the Rocket this year.
Based on his start to the year, I mean, it looks like he definitely could. My choice was Nathan McKinnon at a plus 1,700. I know that this guy was held out of the lineup for a couple, but, at that value and with the level at which that guy can score, I don't think that's too far off to say. I think he will win a Rocket Richard at some point in his career.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And if, it weren't for the COVID start and, things kind of running through the Avalanche right now, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty, gentlemen. Well, that about wraps it up for all we have today. Do you guys have anything else before we hop off?
Do you want to? Okay, never mind.
No, we can. Let's do it.
All right, here's the rule. 3 minutes. If we can't do it in 3 minutes, then we stop right there. So it is.
Mac and I played a game last week where we listed NHL players by their jersey number to count from 1 to 99. This week, the challenge is, these all come to us from the people at Bar Down. The challenge is reciting the alphabet A to Z using NHL current and former player last names.
All right, so
I want to see if we can do this, but each of us gives an answer for one.
Yeah, so we'll do like Nick, you do A, I do B, Mac does C, and then Nick does D.
Oh, I was thinking like we each give, but I don't care.
Oh, I kind of like it my way.
Let's do it. Yeah, that sounds faster.
It'll be quicker.
Yeah.
All right, so in 3, 2, 1, Nick, go.
Daniel Alfredson.
I will
Todd
go.
Sorry. Todd Bertuzzi.
Chris Chelios.
Alex Daigle.
Joel Edmondson.
Martin Farival. Actually, no. Joe Finley Former Capital.
Joe Finley.
Yeah.
Nice.
Played for the Fighting Sioux too.
He did play for the Fighting Sioux. Scott Gomez.
Mike Hoffman.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh, Alex Iafallo.
That's a good one. Tomas Yurko.
Anze Kopitar.
The banker, Kevin LeBanc.
Nice. Glenn Metropolit.
William Nylander.
Nice.
Alex Ovechkin.
That's a good one. Teddy Purcell for P.
Michelle Willette, old time Penguin.
Yeah.
2007 days. Wicked wrister.
Wait, didn't we just go backwards or something?
Am I Q?
I said Ovechkin already. And then
Willette is Q.
O-P. Oh, wait.
ABC.
Willette starts with a Q? I thought it started with an L.
No, it's Q.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Positive. Look it up. Michelle Willette.
Okay.
Q-U-O, whatever. He's on like the 016 team way back.
I'm like 90% sure this is going to start with an O.
No, I swear it starts with a Q.
Please look it up before we move on.
All right, we'll move on just for shits and gigs.
All right,
anyways.
so am I going then?
Yeah, what is that? R?
Yeah, Alexander Radulov.
S? Alex Steen.
Fuck, it starts with an O. Damn
Dude,
it.
yeah, why would it start with an O?
I thought it was French.
There's also a way more obvious one you could do with a Q. He's still in the NHL right now.
I'm trying to think.
He's a goalie.
Oh, God, this is going to kill me.
Goalie, come on.
Is he a starter? Why am I blanking on Q, guys? There's a lot of pressure on me
There's
right now.
head coach of the Panthers, just saying.
Well, he's not. Well, yeah,
but
Quenville.
that is a
I
player.
thought about Quenville. I guess he was a player.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to cop out there. Mac, what was yours?
Jonathan Quick.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right.
Pat
Okay.
Quinn.
Dude, my confidence could have sold anybody on that.
Yeah, what the fuck? Willette? I was like, do you know that O comes before P?
I could have sold Jordan Belfort on that, dude. Like, oh my God. Okay, anyways.
Anyway, I said Radulov, so you're up again and you're with S, right?
Yeah.
Or-
No, I said Alex Steen, so Harry's
Okay,
got
so
T.
okay.
Alex Tanguay.
Nice. 3 Alexes in a row.
RJ Umberger.
Pat Verbeek.
Ooh, nice.
W. Tom Wilson. Fuck. I hate
Nice.
that I said
There,
that.
don't even try. There's not one.
There's not one.
There's
yeah.
not one. So just move to the next one.
So Y.
Yeah.
Okay. Keith Yandel. Sonk.
Nice. Last one, Z.
Is it me or you?
Paul Zigamanis.
Ooh. Are you sure it's not Mike?
Or is it Mike Zigamanis?
He played for the Pens. He's a face-off guy.
Yeah.
remember.
There's also a bunch. There's actually more than you would think with Z.
Yeah.
Also,
Pavel
that-
Baca.
That
True.
came in at 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So
Not
a little
bad.
over. It's probably because of my Q.
Discounting the internet search.
Nikita
Yeah,
Zaitsev.
discounting the internet.
Nikita
search,
Zaitsev's a good one.
we probably broke it, but
Jakob
Zaborov.
Zaboral.
Mhm.
There's a little shot at
Zubov,
Zdeno.
dude.
Zubov.
Dinas Zubris.
There we go.
Lots
Legend.
of them.
Yeah. Good
Oh,
shit,
well.
boys.
Good
Yeah,
episode.
we
Little
try.
brain exercise at 8 p.m. after a full day of working.
Shit, yeah.
Hey,
I
it's
can't
only
do
7
that.
p.m. Don't be
True.
fast forwarding time for me.
Right.
I'm a liability at this point. Okay. Well, I don't know my O's from my Q's, but I do know the over is hitting tomorrow night. So happy gambling to all you guys. Blackhawks, Leafs, mañana. Nick, Mac, anything else?
All good in the hood.
Catch the Xfinity NASCAR race this weekend at Martinsville. The Laughlin Family Foundation is sponsoring Ryan Ellis's car.
Well said. Other than that, I don't have anything else. So thank you everybody for listening to episode 98. We are getting damn close to 100. That'll be fun. And without further ado,
Class dismissed.